Before Hillary Clinton was who she is now, she was once a public defender. And there was a time when she was presented with having to represent a child rapist, child offender, sexual offender. And she asked if she could be relieved of her duties, and she was denied of that right. And they asked her how she felt about representing that man, and she said that she had no other choice but to do it because it was her duty and it was her job, and she did it to the best of her abilities. Is she wrong in that case? No. And is her employer wrong for making her do this? I don't think so either. That's just what public defenders and the defense are entitled to do, is protect the rights of their clients. The capstone topic that I chose was to research the criminal justice lawyers and their roles that they play. And some of the things I found was, well, this is kind of basic, but there is two sides to this. There is the prosecution and the defense. And both of them serve for the same purpose, which is to ensure that there's justice for America. And in doing so, the defense works to protect the person that is accused of a crime, their rights. So unjust sentences can be given to them, or certain punishments. The defense lawyers will uphold the Constitution, and justice will be served for the accusee. The prosecution, on the other hand, they work to persecute the person that is committing the crime and provide, and well, not provide, but protect the rights of America. So a person that commits murder should not be on the streets, and it's the right of America to put that person behind bars. This is important because it also affects the corrections part of the criminal justice system. Defense lawyers try to keep their clients out of jail, and that affects the criminal justice system. There's no money going in for them. And the prosecution is trying to persuade the courts that these people accused of crimes are guilty. There are very many cases that have to deal with criminal justice lawyers. But take, for example, the Himmel case. This was one of the most important cases in order to understand the role of misconduct and how it gets reported and what is misconduct for lawyers. So the Himmel case deals with a lawyer being suspended for not reporting another lawyer for misconduct or for their crime. And that's important because after this case surfaced, there was a lot of reports that started being filed, because I mean, nobody wants to spend time in jail for another person just being witness to another person committing a crime and not saying anything about it. That's a crime. Nobody wants to do that. So they found out that if they report that person, they're safe. Another important case is the Paul House case. This was a man that was convicted of murder in 1986 in Tennessee, and he always said that he was innocent, that he never really committed that crime. And he was still convicted. He spent very many years in prison, and the entire time he's trying to uphold that he is innocent. And then defense lawyers actually listened to his claims, and they tried the case, and he was released because of the new technology, DNA. They were able to prove that he did not commit the murder in that case. And then that's important. That's a good case because defense lawyers helped him with his rights and allowed him to be a free man again. But then in 1986, when he was convicted of murder, the prosecutors were the ones who put him in there because they had the full belief that he had committed the murder. So in that case, is the prosecution wrong? I don't think so. Because at that time, with all the evidence they had gathered about the case, Paul House probably seemed the guiltiest. and that's how they pursued it. But because of defense lawyers, they were able to protect Paul House's rights, and he was released from serving a life sentence in prison. A third case that we can talk about is the Corey Kaufman case. This was a case where a young lawyer, he was pretty bright too, Frank Carson, he felt that a man, Corey Kaufman, was the person stealing some of his antique objects from his personal warehouse or storage. So they gathered a team, and apparently Corey Kaufman went missing in the state of California. And they charged and convicted 9 different people for this crime. And it just shows that not even lawyers are acceptable to committing even the foulest of crimes, because this is murder, and it took 9 people to commit it. So it just shows that not even lawyers are susceptible to that. Now, one important thing about lawyers is that there is misconduct being produced by these professionals, and misconduct can be anything from deceit, fraud, misrepresentation of a client, or even murder in Frank Carson's case. So it's something that is never going to get changed, but there is ways to fix it. Prosecutors usually have a salary, and public defenders have a salary too. They work on salary pay. But these private firms, they're able to generate a lot more income and can pay their defense lawyers higher wages. And if there was a uniform salary for all professional lawyers, I think it would be able to cut out not all misconduct, but a good bit of the misconduct that has to deal with accepting bribes or deceit, misrepresentation. Money is something that plays into lawyers' hands, because they can ask for $5,000 in gifts for this person to ensure that their client has a lesser sentence, for example. And stuff like this happens every day, and it shouldn't. And one of the ways, it wouldn't cut it all out, but one of the ways would be to have a uniform salary for lawyers.